Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, and we are here to overreact to everything we saw this NFL regular season, and of course, look ahead to Wildcard Weekend.
Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Megan Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak team, printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
All right, we are live. Tyler is with us. The NFL season is done. We only have 6 games on the card. So if we want to argue things about Tyler Shook and Jackson Dart, we have plenty of time. But Tyler, let us start with you. The season is over. A new best ball millionaire has been crowned. How you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun season. I really didn't much watch football this week, I'll be honest. I watched the Sunday night game, and that was it, and the 2 Saturday games. Everything else in the Sunday day slate, I didn't watch a single minute.
Dude, so I wasn't planning on it either. I need to get out and do something. The weather was so bad here. I was just like, I'm not going to hike in pouring rain and 40 degrees. So I ended up DEGENing on the morning slate. Felt pretty good taking the points. Did it in the afternoon, and it kicked me in the butt. Chargers plus 15. They lost by 16. That one hurt. Jayme, your overall takeaways from 2025 NFL regular season. What have we learned?
I'm not quite sure what we learned, but it's been a fun season, man. It's been a fun season.
I can tell you what I've learned.
What's that?
I think I've completely underestimated offensive play calling. I actually think it's this year made me think it's actually more important than your head coach. That's one thing I've definitely learned, and I've definitely learned the pros and cons of the statistic called EPA. Jayme, thanks to you.
That's good. I'm glad I could be of some help in that department for sure. But yeah, it's a pretty fun wild card matchup. I mean, outside of the Panthers Rams game, which I think we're all going to probably agree that's the worst game on the card from a viewing standpoint. There's a lot of really fun games this week, so I'm excited for it.
Tyler, you should work in HR. Why do you want to fire people so bad? Tyler in the chat says, congrats, Mike Robb, no more Harbaugh. Tyler, once you get a job in HR, it seems like your lifelong calling. You could just fire people every single day of your life.
Hey, man,
how happy would that make you?
Hey, one of us was getting our head coach fired that day. He won the battle.
Before we dive into this weekend's game, since no one really had any hot takes for the season, do you want to talk about some of the teams that are eliminated and maybe where they're going forward, or do you want to save that for a different show? I saw a bunch of firings today. I think the Harbaugh one is the only one that stood out as actually being kind of a surprise, right?
Washington flipping coordinators when their offense was one of the best ones 2 years ago, and then you dealt with a bunch of injuries this year, kind of surprised me. Yeah, I don't think they should have let Kingsbury go.
Yeah, Dan Quinn should have been gone, in my opinion. I just don't think – I mean, Spread just said it, right? He's a defensive-minded guy who now just lost a pretty good offensive coordinator, in my opinion. So I think he's going to go somewhere. And he has a chance to get a head coaching gig too. It's going to be interesting now, though, because, Spread was probably pretty stoked. You're going to get the number 1 pick in Mendoza, and the Raiders were a very attractive job. But now what are they, like the second or third most attractive job? I think it probably goes Ravens, and then I think it goes Giants. I think personally John Harbaugh goes to the Giants. I think it's Harbaugh or
like as you say that, Underdog just tweeted out, it said Harbaugh expected to emerge as the favorite for the Giants job.
Yeah. I mean, it's appealing. You got theoretically a franchise quarterback. Like we could probably argue, about who is better between him and Shuck, but theoretically you got a franchise quarterback. You got Scatterbo, you got Malik Neighbors, you just got Abdul Carter. Now you have a top 5 pick as well in New York. That's a better job than the Raiders, in my opinion. And then I think Ravens would probably still be the number 1 option. Like maybe Stefanski goes to the Raiders. Or I mean, not the Raiders. Excuse me, the Ravens.
But kind of per our earlier conversation, to me, the Harbaugh hire only works if you get a good OC, right? I mean, that's kind of what matters more for Dart at this point.
I think they could get one though. I think it's an attractive spot for people, right? Like if you're an offensive coordinator, I think one, getting some stability with Harbaugh, that is just a much bigger name. And then also, like I said, like they have pieces there, right? Like they nailed Malik Neighbors, they nailed Scatabo. I mean, Jackson Dart at least looked pretty good this year. They got Abdul Carter. Like there's pieces there plus a top 5 pick. I think it's a really good spot.
I think that's
not to mention of the 3 teams that we're talking about here, Raiders, Ravens, and Giants. I think the Giants have the easiest division. I mean, Dallas is perpetually just mediocre, right? I mean, they're always going to be good, but
the Eagles, man,
team until Jerry dies. Yeah, you have the Eagles. So you have one other team. Washington's always in flux too, and even this most recent firing of Kingsbury kind of just shows like where's the continuity. Like I'm just surprised they gave up on it, not seeing like, hey, our GM made some mistakes and our franchise quarterback got hurt. That's why the year went so bad. And if you think about it, the real bad part was Quinn's side of the ball, the defense.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, there's a reason we were targeting them in DFS. They were real bad there for a 6 to 7 week stretch where they were, arguably the worst defense in the league. And we could say you felt like the Cowboys had that crown for a while. The Bengals had that crown for a while. But yeah, that's another reason here. Mike Robb says, legit question, what does Harbaugh bring? He isn't an offensive or defensive mind, and he wants to keep Orr around, giving off Billy B vibes like it has passed him by on getting talent around him. Well, so my answer would be, I mean, number one, he knows how to run an organization. Coaching is more than calling plays. It's about setting the hotel, setting the accountability, dealing with the media, sweeping stuff under the rug when your safety gets a DUI. There's a lot that goes on as a coach, even getting your OC and your DC on the same page, right? I mean, I'm sure, most DCs probably want their offensive coordinators to run the ball more. They probably want less plays in the game. They probably want more time to work with their guys on the bench. They don't want to have to go 3 and out and only 17 seconds has elapsed because you did 3 pass plays. However, most OCs are going to know, hey, unless we have an elite offensive line and a really strategic running attack, these runs on 1st and 2nd down just put us in these 3rd and longs, which the defense can tee off. So we really got to mix it up on the first couple of downs. So I would say what Harbaugh brings is he knows how to coach and coordinate. And if you put the good coordinators around him, he'll get it done. So coaching is more than calling plays would be my answer to that. What do you guys think? I mean,
yeah,
would you Harbaugh Tyler if Tomlin got fired?
If what?
Let's just say Tomlin did get fired. Would you be like, oh, I want John Harbaugh as our coach?
No, because I feel like that's replacing kind of the same guy with the same guy. I don't think Harbaugh. I don't think either guy's a bad coach. I think they're old school defensive minded coaches. If I'm going to get rid of Tomlin, I want to do what Green Bay did. For instance, Jayme knows they went from Mike McCarthy, old school, to a Matt LaFleur, a Kyle Shanahan treed coach that came out offensive minded. And you have to be that way to win in the new NFL. McVay's like that. Some of these other coaches are like that. None of these old school coaches win anymore, really. So I think you need to go new school with these coaches.
And another reason why I like, and we can kind of pivot into Saturday here, what the Bears are doing with Ben Johnson and just establishing the offense first. Because I remember if you go back on these shows, I was kind of ridiculing the Bears for, taking Colson Loveland and taking Luther Burden. It's like, you already have Roman Dunze, you already have DJ Moore, right? What are you doing? But, the counter argument can be offense is consistent from year to year. The good offenses are always good. We've seen these defenses. It's hard to stay on top for a while, right? Like right now, the Texans are the top dog. Broncos have a great defense. These never last 5 to 10 years like these great offenses do. So it seems like it's more sustainable to build a strong offense and then try to piece together your defense in the new NFL. What do you think, Jayme?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And to Tyler's point too, like that replacing Tomlin with Harbaugh, you're going to be in the same boat. Like you're probably going to win eight or nine games, and you're
So
gonna
where
be in
would
the same.
Harbaugh be the best just for him? Like if you were his agent, where would you want him to be?
I
Of the
think
available jobs, like can't say
I
Kansas
think
City.
I think the Giants personally. I think again though the key is like you said, he's going to need to find a good offensive coordinator. But I think that's probably like the best team right now that has good picks, right? Like they're going to have a top 5 pick. They have a bunch of young talent on that team. I think it's going to be the most attractive spot. I think it's a spot that he could thrive in. I think like the worst spot, I think the Raiders would be a pretty bad spot, to be honest, for him.
For Harbaugh?
Yeah, I don't see it being very good.
I agree. Yeah.
I just because again, like who's going to be the offensive coordinator? Like, is he going to be able to develop Mendoza? Right? Like, I just think I think the Giants to me is probably the best spot for him. I also think it too, like pivoting off of that, because the Lions fired their OC Johnny Morton today as well. And I hope this doesn't happen because I've been kind of saying he's going to go to Philly, but I hope Brian Daboll stays far away from Detroit, man. Like I could, if they were able to get Brian Daboll in Detroit, that offense again next year would be legit. I mean, they have all the pieces, like the things he could do with like Gibb and Amon-Ra, Laporta when he gets healthy, Jayme. That would be a perfect fit for Brian Daboll, which I hope as a Packer fan he doesn't go. I think that the Eagles would be good. Or Buffalo, like we talk about here in a bit. Buffalo gets bounced in round 1. Are they going to move on from Joe Brady? Does Brian Daboll go back to Buffalo for a year or two? So it's been a kind of a wild year, man. There's a bunch of different coaching options from offense coordinator, defensive coordinators, and a bunch of head coaching gigs that are up.
All right. Anything more about the season that we saw before we jump into this weekend's Wildcard Weekend matchups?
No, one more thing about the Giants coaching situation. I think their ideal way of coming out of this offseason, Harbaugh's at the helm at head coach. Kingsbury comes in at OC. Gannon comes in as DC. And there's your coaching staff for the year. Because Gannon's one that's flying under the radar. He's probably the most talented guy out there that got fired, in my opinion.
I think him or Raheem Morris, as far as like defensive coordinators go.
Listen, Raheem Morris is already wearing black and yellow.
Hey, not so fast, my friend. If Jeff Hafley, I'm calling it now. If Jeff Hafley leaves the Packers for a head coaching gig, he's gonna be in Green Bay. Him and Matt LaFleur are like best friends. Matt LaFleur even said in his press conference that he just got off the phone with Raheem Morris not that long ago. They are best friends. I'm telling you. That would be my ideal thing. If Hafley does leave, bring in Gannon or bring in Raheem Morris. Because I also think, too, the Packers they probably have the most, coveted spot as far as defensive coordinator. You're going to have a good team that's going to be competing for a Super Bowl, and you're going to be able to coach Micah Parsons in his prime.
Do you really think Hafley's going to get hired away? It feels like
it feels tougher.
Most of the league knows that you need an offensive mind as your head coach. And I want to bring up something that my buddy said to me because I like to debate with him like you and I like to debate Jayme, right? Yeah. And so he's a Raiders fan as well. He says, "Oh, I don't want to do this Flores Daboll deal." And in my head, I'm only thinking for next season. I go, "Why not? You got one of the best defensive minds in the game. You should make the defense better, and then you get Daboll to develop Mendoza. Sounds like a winning combination to me." And he goes, "Because if it works, Daboll's going to get hired away
in 2 years
to be a head coach."
Yeah.
So it almost feels like for these play callers, you have to bring them in as head coaches. Otherwise, they're going to leave. Yeah. Right. I mean, and if you have Mike McDonald in Seattle, right? I mean, you're going to end up losing Kubiak. I mean, that's just the name of the game. But he's that good at defense to where he's going to be able to get away with it. And he can come to other OCs and be like, "Do you want your play calls showcased in the playoffs? Right? In these primetime games, like come here with me. We can make you look good. You're only need to put up 21 points and you're going to be called a genius and you win, because I'm going to do the rest for you." And so it just seems like because of the way the nature of things are, I'm thinking, the smart way in the NFL, 20 to 25 of NFL head coaches should be offensive minded because you have to be elite on the defensive end or it doesn't work. I mean, even look at Robert Saleh. I think we could argue that he's a defensive play caller and schemer as McDonald and Fangio, right? He's up there at the top. It didn't work in New York because of the offense. I mean, the defense got way worse. I mean, you could see the effect that he had on that team when he left. Same players, all of a sudden they're crappy defense. So yeah, I think these OCs are going to be in high demand, and that's why I wonder, as good as Hafley's been, if he's even going to be a candidate.
Spread. You want LaFleur's brother, the one that's in LA. That's who you
Mike?
want. Yeah.
Does he use the same amount of hair gel?
Not quite as much.
Not as much. But I mean, he's from the same coaching tree. He's coached under McVay. I don't care that he hasn't called plays.
I want Kubiak personally. That's my dream.
Yeah. Kubiak. Well, and on that topic too, it cracks me up because there's it's getting pushed now a little bit where people are talking about the Packers actually firing Matt LaFleur, and if they did, they'd bring in Kevin Stefanski. And that stuff blows my mind, man. I'm just I try to tell all my friends that are Packer fans, I'm like, I promise you, it's not.
Bro, that's just like a blogger who literally has nothing to write about.
Yeah. It was Pro Football
blogger
Talk. He is. He is kind of like that too. But PFT did post about it, and I promise you, as my Twitter is nothing but Packer stuff, right? Just a bunch of Packer fans. All that stuff. There is nightmare. There is. I promise you, a lot of people that are calling him like an Aaron Rodgers merchant and all this stuff, like saying his records since then, and talked about how the Packers now have made 3 straight playoffs as the 7th seed. I'm just I promise you guys, losing Matt LaFleur is not going to make this team better. Just wait until you see what that offense looks like without Matt LaFleur. And I promise you, it's not going to look near as good. So
nobody really thinks that's going to happen. I mean, come on.
Well, the reality is, I will say though, historically, the Packers are very, very cheap with their head coaching contracts. And his contract is up with there's a new guy in town, man. His contract is up. I do think that I think it would be insane to fire him this year with all these injuries. But I do think there's a world where in 2 years, if the Packers keep underachieving with, Love and Micah and all these guys, I could see them potentially making a change. But as of right now, I'm this would be a disaster.
It'd be a disaster. I think one of the reasons Love has developed the way he has is he's been under one system his whole time.
It's 100%.
I think some of these quarterbacks get screwed around, and that's why it's funny. In a different group chat of Raiders fans, one guy was mad about firing Pete, but it's how many times have we seen this? We see it with Dart. We saw it with Cam Ward. You bring him in under the old head coach, and now he's on his second scheme in his second year. I just think it's messed up. You got to really do a timeline. When you draft the quarterback, should draft the offensive play caller, a guy that's going to develop, and try to at least keep him for the length of the rookie contract.
No, you're 100% right. Look, I don't think people remember Aaron Rodgers was pretty bad the 2 years prior to Matt LaFleur coming back, which is why the Packers drafted Jordan Love, right? Because Aaron Rodgers was pretty bad. If you look at all of his metrics, by far looking like he was coming down on the downswing. So they drafted Jordan Love. And then in year 2 and year 3 under Matt LaFleur's system, he wins MVP, gets Jordan Love, develops Jordan Love into a pretty good quarterback. They go and trade a 7th round draft pick for Malik Willis. And Malik Willis looks like a top 15 quarterback in the NFL when he's under Matt LaFleur. There's a correlation here, right? And that's Matt LaFleur has a lot to do with a lot of these quarterbacks looking good. So I think it would be an absolute disaster.
That's going to cost somebody a ton of money in the offseason. Someone's going to overpay Malik Willis and get left with a dud. It's probably going to be us.
So it is. I think Kingsbury would be okay with him.
It's probably going to be us. So
well, one team that I do think would be good with him, Colts, Shane Steichen. I think he would actually be, because Shane Steichen's a really good coach too, offensive minded guy. He's a much better version of Daniel Jones. He is very athletic, but I hope so. I hope he gets paid this offseason because, that comp pick, get us a 3rd round pick.
He's going to. He will.
Yeah,
just because there's too many teams that need quarterbacks, and there's only really 2 quarterbacks really thinking, in my mind, there's only, and I was wrong about Shuck, so what do I know? I said that last year too, right? There was 3, and Shador ended up not being that good. But yeah, there's 10 teams that need quarterbacks, and there's 2 in the draft that I think that you could argue would be starting to right away. And I also think for both Mendoza and Moore, wouldn't it be crazy if they were not starting week 1?
Yeah.
And they did the dark plan, right? And they brought him in week 5 or something,
Yeah. I mean, Malik Willis going to the Colts or Miami with McDaniel or Shane Steichen, I think would be a good fit. It'd be fun for fantasy football next year because, I mean, Malik Willis can run.
What happens to Daniel Jones?
I mean, that guy's
might not play next year.
That's what I'm saying. He's
dang, I have him in
they're in a weird spot because if he plays, he's not going to play till halfway through the year. And I'm pretty sure Richardson's a free agent, right? So you kind of got to let that one go.
No, he's not yet.
I think he has an extra year. I think he has one more year, maybe.
So he has one more year, and then he can be extended another. I think.
So do you just run him out at the beginning of next year and see if he's going to pan out again?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. But I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I know you just draft someone with your first round pick. Oh, wait, you traded it for Sauce Gardner. On that note, Tyler, I don't know what's going on, dude. Bookmaker must know, and they must be afraid of all these bets that you're giving me during the show. Because I just checked. I can bet college football, but everything is locked for me right now. I'm offshore right now. I'll use the NFL schedule over here on CBS, and I think those numbers are from Caesars, so I don't have my normal offshore numbers.
I can give you the odds off of FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, just if you have something different, let me know. Right now, I'm seeing Panthers plus 10.5, total 46.5. Tyler, probably won't bet this one, but if I did, I think I would have to take the points. It just seems like too much. I understand it's a Rams get back spot and Rams revenge spot, but 10.5 seems like an awful lot for a playoff game. And do we know if Davante Adams is playing? If Davante Adams plays, then I don't need the 10. If he's out again, I might consider taking the points here. What do you think, Tyler?
Sounds like he's going to play.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to play. If Dotson's the other one I'm worried about. If Dotson's also going to play, I mean, I think Rams win this game by about 20. Carolina probably thought their season was over when they lost the game. They looked absolutely terrible against Tampa Bay. And we think they're going to be able to keep up with the Rams. They lucked out in the first matchup with Stafford throwing the pick 6. They had a couple easy drives, a couple short fields because he threw a couple other picks. Kind of rated the ship there in that last week against Arizona. Might have won his MVP back because I see he's minus 200 again. I think that they win by margin. I think they probably cover the spread.
Are you good enough to bet it though? You know
I
what?
Need to know,
going in my head, I'm thinking. You know what? While Jayme breaks this down, I'm going to look up double-digit spreads on wild cards. I'm kind of having this weird deja vu of me taking all these points in wild card games and getting absolutely smoked. And the game's like 38-10, right? And I'm sitting on plus 10.5. Let me look up double-digit wild card spreads. While you break this game down, Jayme. Rams and Panthers here, man. I mean, one of the only reasons to bet is it just doesn't make sense, and that seems like how the NFL's been this year. While you do that, I'm going to check up double-digit wild card against the spread.
Yeah, I don't want to touch this. I mean, it feels like a lot of points. I mean, so maybe the Panther side, but like you said, Panthers are not good. I think we all kind of agree that the Rams are probably the best team in the NFC and arguably the best team in the NFL. I don't have it's something that could just, like Tyler said, end up being like a 20 or 25 point game here, and it's just not even close. And Stafford throws 4 or 5 touchdowns, and so I have no interest on the side. I do like 2 props though. Both of them are on Davante Adams. So I actually like Davante Adams under 4.5 receptions, but I also like to take his anytime touchdown at like minus 130. I think with the 10-point spread, I think there's a chance that they kind of just blow them out the water where they're not going to need to drop back and pass a ton. I also just think there's a chance that Davante, if he plays, he might be limited because they don't need him in this game. But I do think if he does play and get on the field, he's going to play in high leverage situations. So going to play a lot around the goal line, going to get those 1-yard touchdown passes that we've seen all year. And I actually kind of like parlaying these together because they're negatively correlated. So you're going to get much better odds than like if you took the over 4.5. So I think it's a good look kind of to take both here. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Devontae goes and has like 3 catches for 32 yards and 2 touchdowns or something in this spot. So that is where I'm kind of leaning in the game. I have no interest in the side or total. Like 10.5, I'd be interested to see what you find out here because it feels like a lot of points, but Panthers just aren't good, man. Like this has got to be one of the worst teams in the playoffs in a long time. So, and plus the Panthers beat the Rams earlier in the year. Time for the Rams to get back here. So it's a pass for me on the side.
Yeah, stay away. Look what I found. Double-digit underdogs are 1-17 straight up and 5-13 ATS in the playoffs since 2011. The only thing, if you were to look for a trend to tell you this, it says home dogs of 4 more points or 8 no ATS over the last 50 years. So, I mean, that would be the ultimate. But no, I think this is going to fit into the other one. So, all right, let's stay away from that one then. Did Bookmaker give me some lines yet? I guess I wasn't going to bet that one anyways. All right, let's move into that main event. Saturday night's main event, Jayme. They should bring Jesse Ventura out of retirement. No, they shouldn't. They actually did that recently. It worked out terribly. But if we can get the clone of 1989 Jesse Ventura, I would love to hear him call. Saturday night's main event. Look it up, guys. He was like Jim Ross before it happened. Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Let's see. The line right now, a +1.5 on Caesars. Total 45.5. Jayme, we kind of joked around in the chat, right? That, for the sake of the show, I really wanted to argue for the Bears. But boy, these last 2 weeks have really soured me on this team. And it's just, I said it, maybe we're on the show and you can find one worse. But of the 14 teams in the playoffs, I think this is the worst defense. I even think the Panthers have a better defense than the Bears. The one thing the Bears do have is they do like to run the ball. They have a commitment to the run, and I think that holds up well, especially in the playoffs when a lot of these games do tend to go under. But, so we were on the opposite side for both Bears-Packers games. On the first one, I won my live bet, but I lost the one that I gave out on the show, a +6.5. And to be fair, I think I had +8.5 live, and I kind of felt lucky to cover that one with the 28-21. A little bit of that don't do anything for 3 quarters and then scramble back in the 4th quarter, which worked for the Broncos this year. And then, we talked about it on the show already. Kind of lucky that the Bears got that cool, fun upset win. Then I was able to really have so much fun messing with you about a couple weeks ago here. I just don't know if it happens again. And I don't know if I want to bet the team with the worst defense. So, of course, I want your breakdown, but I also want to know if I were just going to ask you some questions, making my own decision, how much do you think the home field advantage matters here? Because that could be one other thing that maybe would be a good argument for the Bears. Are you worried about going on the road and heading to Chicago? Break down this game, and I am listening. I just got to get up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about home field. I mean, Green Bay is like a couple hours away from there. I've been to Chicago. There's a ton of Packer fans there. The Packers have dominated Chicago historically in Chicago anyways. So that's not too big of a concern to me. But honestly, before I even talk about any of like the schematic stuff, right, of like man zone concept, any of that, like if you just look straight up, like, the Packers are theoretically coming off of a bye, basically. Like they just rested all of their starters. And you have Chicago that played all of their starters in a game they were trying to win and now playing on a short week. So, like, just that in itself, I don't think bodes very well for Chicago. Also, Chicago, like, inexperienced quarterback making his first time in the playoffs. A lot of players on that team making their first time in the playoffs. Head coach Ben Johnson's first time as a head coach in the playoffs. So there's a lot of reasons just from, like, that type of perspective why I think the Packers are the right side. But from a schematic standpoint, like this is a really good spot for the Packers offense. Like they play Chicago plays man coverage, like a top 5 rate. That is what Jordan Love in this offense has kind of demolished all year. They also cannot get pressure on the quarterback. And I've said that many of times with Jordan Love is like, if you can get pressure on him, he's like a bottom tier quarterback. If you don't get pressure on him, he kind of shreds you. Like in games where he is not pressured this year, he has 22 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Like, he has the highest success rate in the NFL when he's not pressured. So I think it's a really good spot. This is also going to be the healthiest this team has been since the last time they played in Green Bay, obviously minus Micah Parsons, but they're going to get Zach Tom back, which is big for their offensive line. All these other guys are healthy. It's going to be good for Josh Jacobs. Finally get some rest because he's been kind of running on fumes. So again, I said I wanted this, and the reality is I have some friends that are Chicago fans that have tried to pretend that they were excited about this matchup, that they wanted Green Bay. The reality here is, man, this is a team that just had their best season in decades, the most hope they've had in decades. And guess who is coming to their front door? The boogeyman. This team is terrified of Green Bay. I don't care what anybody says. This would be the most poetic thing in the world for the Bears to win the division, finally have all this hope, and the Packers to knock them out. I just don't think Chicago has looked all that great. I think if you look at all their metrics, they're like an average football team. Like, outside of the Panthers, they might be, in my opinion, the worst team in the playoffs. I mean, we can make an argument with the Steelers potentially, but like, I just don't think the Bears have been very good. I feel like they've gotten a lot of lucky in a lot of games against some really bad teams. It's a lot of fourth quarter magic, which, sure, counts for something, but I just think this is a good spot for Green Bay. So I took Green Bay when they were plus 1.5. They're now minus 1.5. It's honestly kind of ping pong back and forth throughout the week. So it might go back in that direction. I also teased them with someone we'll talk about later, but Jacksonville, both of those teams up to 7.5. As far as props goes, I love Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown. Those guys like minus 105, and honestly, that should be like minus 130, minus 135 in my opinion. I think just the minus 105 is just based on him kind of playing more limited snaps in his last few games due to injury, but I don't see that being the case after a week off. I expect him probably get 17 to 18 rush attempts here, but also like the Colston Loveland over on the 40.5 receiving yards too. Like, this guy's got like double-digit targets last few weeks. He's really coming on strong. Packers are pretty vulnerable against tight end position, so I like that look too. But from a game perspective, I mean, come on, there's no shocker here. There was no way anybody here thought I was going to come on and pick Chicago to beat the Packers in wild card round. Come on, there's zero chance. So I like the Packers here, even at the minus 1.5. Take the money line, whatever.
Yeah, and I think my favorite point that Jayme made was the strength of schedule, because I'm going to be using that in 2 of my other picks, and that's another concern that I have for the Chicago Bears. But Tyler, I mean, let's be honest, right? Jayme can sometimes be a little arrogant with his Packers. It would be nice to see the Bears, we get some wins, right? And I won't have to hear about how I root for a poverty franchise and he roots for, the team that the trophy was named after. See, it's right behind me. Give me some hope, Tyler. Is there any way that you can convince me to take the Chicago Bears?
No, because I'm on Green Bay. I wouldn't bet the Bears in this spot. I mean, their defense is absolutely horrendous. They can't stop anything. There might only be one thing in the entire world that has worse defense than them right now, and it's some country in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's the only thing worse than them. I knew it would take spread a second to get that one. But I mean, they are so bad on defense, and just like Jayme said, they're coming off a bye. Last week didn't matter. They were sending. I don't even know who played quarterback for the Packers in the end.
Did they run the ball like 88% of the time?
Oh, bro, they had zero. They were not dropping back to pass at all, man. No.
We talked about betting Green Bay spread, and then I seen that report that Willis was out. I was like, I'm not touching this game.
I ended up pushing on that one, Tyler. I took the plus 13, and then I thought I lost, and then I don't even know what happened. And then next thing
Matt LaFleur called a timeout with 1 second
to make sure
left.
he didn't get shut out. Huh?
He's a shutout, yeah.
I appreciate that. He pushed for me, buddy. That saved me some money. It probably made me a little overconfident though to take that. What was the bad one? Oh, Dolphins plus 15. That was terrible. All right.
Yeah, and the Packers defense, I think, is good enough to slow down this Bears offense. And the Bears really couldn't even score on the Lions last week. So we think they're gonna be able to do anything here. I know they're at home, but I don't think that matters. Give me Green Bay here. I think Love lights up the defense, probably throws for 250 plus. I don't mind the Josh Jacobs touchdown call because they probably get in the red zone. He gets the first couple looks. I kind of like my guy Jaden Reed. I know he hasn't found it yet, but I feel like he gets a shot here plus 240.
Like that.
I think they win the game by about a touchdown or at least 3
Boy,
points. So
I wonder if I could tease the Bears. Is that up yet? Why are they down? It's so weird. Let me check. Can I bet NBA right now? Yeah, bookmakers won't give me any NFL. Really weird. That's never happened in that. We've been an NFL show for how many years, Tyler?
Okay,
Never
wow.
have I not been able to bet on bookmaker while we're doing the show. All right, guys. Anything else on Saturday before we move on to Wildcard Super Sunday?
That's it for me.
What's your thoughts here, Spread? I'm not letting you get off this.
Unfortunately, I
here,
think the Packers are the right side.
Okay.
All right. I hate to say it, man, but I would just be repeating most of your points. I mean, it's just a really bad defense and
I was hoping you're going to be
inexperienced
on the Bears side.
quarterback.
Because
I'm trying to find a way because
I know.
Honestly, these
thought
last
for sure
2 weeks
you would have
killed
been.
my enthusiasm for the Bears.
Yeah.
When I watched, that looked like the 85 Niners. And I don't know if they have that. Do they have that on YouTube, Jayme, when you're watching all your greatest hits?
They probably
check
do.
out some Roger Craig, some Jay
Yeah.
Rice, some Joe Montana,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's what the Bears made that offense look like. And then, it was technically a must-win against the Lions. I wasn't very inspired by that performance, and they were at home too. One thing, it's not like they didn't want to win that game. Ben Johnson going against his old team. Didn't the Lions put up 50 when they played in Detroit in like week 3 or something, week 2?
Yeah.
They had plenty of reasons to be motivated for that game, and I wasn't really that excited. Another one, and let me ask you one fantasy question. Before that game, I was thinking I would rather have Luther Burden than Roma Dunze in Dynasty. Boy, he's got so much upside. Then he gets his chance to shine. I don't know. I wasn't necessarily that impressed. What do you think of Luther Burden going forward, Jayme?
Oh, I love Luther Burden. Luther Burden is
more than Roma Dunze. So if you could have either in Dynasty, who would you rather have? Really?
Luther Burden.
Yeah, I knew that.
He is.
Should I try to get rid of Odunze? I have Odunze in Dynasty. I'm kind of worried that.
I don't know. I still think look, I'm a Bear hater, but I still think there's a lot of upside here with this team. Ben Johnson's a really good head coach. They have some young pieces. Caleb Williams is still getting better, I think, right? I still think he has some really bad moments, but some really good moments. I still think that team the offense could still be very good. And if their defense continues to be this bad, that's just good for fantasy anyway. So I don't think Roma Dunze's
good point, right?
Yeah. I don't think he's a guy to just get rid of, but I definitely prefer a Luther Burden, man. He's the real deal.
Yeah, I kind of want to get him. All right. I just don't think it's going to be available. Okay. Let's talk about another game that like I said, for that last game, my heart wants to just click the Packers, right? If I didn't need money, I would just bet the Bears, right? If I was just a millionaire and I was doing it for fun, I would bet the Bears, but I know it's not smart. Same here. I want to bet the Jaguars so bad. However, I just don't know if I can bet against Josh Allen in this situation. It just feels like for the Jaguars to win, I think they're going to have to blow them out. Just like I said this last year, Tyler, when we did our Super Bowl preview, and I said, if the Eagles are going to beat the Chiefs, they're going to have to blow them out. It's going to have to be 21-0 at halftime, right? Where, you don't give any of this Mahomes magic a shot. You can't give this Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen magic. We talk about bad defenses. The Bills are probably bottom 4 when we're talking about playoff defenses. Jaguars defense hits. But Josh Allen, to me, and that's why, we kind of joke about the EPA and stuff, Jayme, it's just the stuff that you can't measure. The 3rd and 7s, the ability to break tackles, pick up runs.
You can measure those, and they do measure them, but I get you. I get EPA per play is.
So, how does EPA do that Lamar Jackson play from Sunday Night Football? Where it's just how did, how do we measure that? Who else can do that?
I see what you mean. I got you. I thought you meant just pure rushing ability. I was they definitely measure rush stuff. You're talking about the Superman type stuff, right?
Just the game's on the line. The defense calls the perfect play. The middle linebacker's right there. And then Josh Allen. Okay. All right. But regardless, we'll do EPA during the offseason. Regardless, I'm having problems pulling making the bet on the Jaguars even though everything seems to say that they're the better team, especially if you only sort since they have Jacoby Myers on that offense. What do you think? We'll start with you, Jayme. Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to bet the Cats. You know, I love my little cat, right? You might see her walking around in the background. I want to bet on the Cat team, but I just feel like I'm throwing money away. Your thoughts on Jacksonville and Buffalo?
Our guy Mike Robb's going to be an absolute shambles when he watches Trevor Lawrence send home Josh Allen in round 1. I lean Jaguars. Like I said I did tease them with Green Bay when Green Bay was plus 1.5. Honestly, like you could probably tease them with Chicago too. Like I do think that like getting a 7.5 for Green Bay or Chicago is probably, I think, good. I think it's probably a touchdown game, field goal type game. So I think that's fine too.
Even the teaser I'm worried about. You don't think Buffalo could blow them out?
I don't think so. I don't think Buffalo's that good. I've kind of said that all year. Like I think Josh Allen is the best quarterback by far in the playoffs. But like when you start looking at the personnel, like the coaching to me is not even close. I would take Liam Cohen 100 out of 100 times over Sean McDermott. Trevor Lawrence has been playing as the best quarterback in football over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Obviously, he's not better than Josh Allen. I think James Cook is better than Etienne, but I think the way they use Etienne and Bashal Tutin's going to be back. They use him a lot around the goal line. I think they have probably a better offensive line. I think they have a better defense. I just think Jacksonville is like a better team. And I just think it's just hard to bet against Josh Allen. And I get it, man. Would I be shocked if Josh Allen puts on his Superman cape like you were just talking about and takes over the game and has like 3 rushing touchdowns for himself? Like, no, I'm not at all, but I do lean Jacksonville. Like I said, I like the teaser. You can tease that with Chicago, or if it comes back with Green Bay too, potentially you can tease it with Green Bay. I do like the under here too. I just think Buffalo, they've been playing in some cold weather, going to go to Jacksonville. It's going to be pretty hot. I just think this could be, I don't know, like a 24, 23 type of game, something like that.
See, if it's a close game, don't you have to favor Buffalo, though? I just think the Bills have a way better chance.
I don't know. I think you're just putting a little too much. Sure, but I think you're just putting a little too much stock personally in Josh Allen. Look, it could be right. That's why I'm probably not going to touch the side, and I'm more than likely just going to take the tees up there. But also one like fun prop I do like. I take Ty Johnson like plus 700 for anytime TD. Like don't drop like a full unit on this or something. But like it just feels to me like
Ray Davis enthusiasts in shambles right now.
Well, I think Ty Johnson's more of the pass catching guy, anyways, right? Like I could see a third long, they're down like 14, and Josh Allen chucks them up to him. It's just I think that line's a little bit off, but that's kind of where I'm at. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Josh Allen then win the game, which is why I'm terrified. Just take Jacksonville straight up, just like you. But I think the 7.5 is probably good.
All right. Mr. Coolers says he's signed up for that Ty Johnson anytime TD. Tyler, talk to us, man. I want to bet on the Kitty Cats down in Jacksonville. What do you think? Can we get this done?
I think they win. I'm in the same boat as Jayme. That's the best way to put it. I think they win the game. I have a ticket on them to win the AFC. I don't think I'll have any money on them to win this game. It's just one of those spots. I think one side's gonna be very right. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game, but one side just dominates pretty much the whole game. Never really gives the lead up. And I just don't want to have my money involved in a game like that. I'm not 100% sure Jacksonville's legit. I think they are, but they beat up on some bad teams down the stretch. Yeah, they beat Denver. They beat Denver, but again, Denver's another one. I'm not sure how good they are. This is just a year.
We know their defense is good, though. And Jacksonville put up points on them.
No, I agree, but this is the year of parity, and there's a lot of teams that are 13-4 and 14-3 that I don't think we might look at and go, oh, they ended up not being as good as their record actually ended up showing. So I'm probably just going to watch this one from the side. Lean Jacksonville gets the win. For my Steelers' interest, I would rather Buffalo win this game.
Why is that?
They're a lower seed. Get them to Denver.
All right. You actually made me think of something while I was doing that. If I want Jacksonville to win the game, should I just bet them to win the AFC? I mean, I almost think
tough.
this is the toughest out just because of the way the quarterback is, right? Denver, yeah, their defense is 10 times better than the Bills, but I got Trevor going against Bo Nix. I mean, Bo Nix has been excellent, but we just haven't seen it year after year of these miraculous performances, especially in the postseason. I mean, Allen has playoff pedigree in my mind. I mean, at least for me, I never watched and go, Josh Allen blew it. I mean, they're putting up 48 points and he's losing and stuff like that, Chargers and Patriots, right? We talked about flawed teams up top. I think both those teams would qualify. I mean, the Chargers have a practice squad offensive line, and they're sitting here. We just talked about Denver. And then, Texans and Steelers, same thing. Those teams aren't going to blow you out, right? I mean, I'm definitely way more afraid if I'm ahead by 2 points. I'm way more afraid with Josh Allen than the ball than CJ Stroud. I'll just put it that way. All right. So Bills, Jaguars. I think that we kind of think the best bet might be the under there, huh, Jayme? Or you bet the Jaguars, and then when they go up by 2 touchdowns, you just do, whatever you're going to get to even your stake on the plus 400 money line you can get, for the touchdown.
I will say, I do think, and this is just my opinion, I think the best bet on the entire board is a Jaguars teaser with Green Bay or Chicago. Obviously, you can't get Green Bay now, but I think there's a chance it flips back. Even Chicago, I think, though, at like 7.5, I think is a good play with them. I don't honestly love a ton of sides, and we'll get to obviously the next 3 games, but there's not a ton of sides that I feel super confident about.
Okay, I like the next 2. I like the next 2. So we'll go ahead here, and I already know that even
you're
if
all
you're
over
not
the Eagles, aren't you?
Of course.
Yeah, I knew it. Yep.
Of course.
I knew it.
Did you see what the Seattle? So Seattle was -1 when we did the show, right? Game time rolls around. Like, I want to bet on the Seahawks, right? Oh, I don't want to lay 2.5. I'll just wait and get them live. Dude, I never had a chance. It never went below 2.5 the whole game.
Yep.
Even it was out to like 3.5, 4. And then when Darnold missed the wide open running back, which was tough for a Darnold truther like me, because boy, that was an easy read. To miss the first time when they went 3 or had the turnover on downs in the red zone. Then it went back down to 2.5, but I go, okay, but that's still the original price that I didn't want to pay. I'm not doing it. I'm sure the Niners will look good. Their offense looked great against the Bears, right? They'll get a nice drive here, right? I'll be able to get a -1 or a even money line. Never happened. And now I'm looking at this Eagles team getting a little bit healthier. They did the same thing as the Packers as far as using last week as the bye, getting those guys rested. And I think they're just going to bully the 49ers on the line. And, as great as Robert Saleh is, I mean, they lost another guy. I can't remember his name. I want to call him Bethune-Cookman, but that's some college basketball team that I've been watching on ESPN+. But it's a guy named Bethune. They lost another top linebacker there. The 49ers defense is just too much. And I do believe the Eagles defensive line is strong enough to get to not allow McCaffrey to go off and then put pressure on Purdy, where if you can get pressure with 4 on the any scheme, but I think that's the best way to do it against the Shanahan scheme. You can kind of slow them down and limit them. And that's what McDonald was able to do with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks set the blueprint for what the Eagles will be able to achieve. And we've talked about this before, Jayme. I believe in Jalen Hurts in big games. So I think that he's going to come through for me as well. It might not be a great statistical game. I don't know if I want to load up with him and playoff best ball. I don't know if he's going to be breaking the slate on Sunday. But I think he's going to find A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith when he needs to. And Dallas Goedert, kind of an underrated player here on third down. So I laid it with the Eagles. I laid -4. Jayme, I know you're worried because you've thought that the Eagles were a little bit overrated as well this season. But I'm just saying, because you're holding them to a Super Bowl standard and teams like the Bears and the Patriots, we go, oh, isn't this a cool, happy story? Oh, and I finally got lines up too. Eagles -4 on Bookmaker.
Yeah. I'm not touching the game. I everyone knows I have a Super Bowl ticket from before the year with San Francisco, Green Bay, and the Rams. So I will be rooting for the 49ers.
So just for fun, give us an argument why people should bet on the 49ers. If you were going to bet the 49ers and you want to explain it to everybody why you should make that bet, what would you say?
I just don't think I can. I think I would have to lean on the Eagles side. Like, I just don't love what I've seen with this San Francisco team. And again, obviously, when I made the bet for San Francisco to, go to the Super Bowl before the season, I was obviously thinking Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, and they're going to look much different than they are now. But like their defense is not good. Like the Bears are probably worse, but like the 49ers defense, I don't think is that much better. I just think that 49ers have Robert Saleh, which obviously helps. But like I don't think their defense is very good. Their offense has looked really good, but you got to put that in context a little. Like they came off the bye, they played Tennessee. They dropped 37 on Tennessee. They played the Colts. They dropped 48 on the Colts. They go play Chicago. They dropped 42 on Chicago. And then they go play a Seattle team that can get pressure on the quarterback, and they put up 3. It does feel kind of like a nightmare game for the 49ers, to be honest with you. So I don't hate the Eagles side here. I do kind of like a George Kittle anytime touchdown. It's like plus 190. Just because I do think that he's going to get a lot of looks. I think he's going to get a lot of looks in the red zone as well. I do think the Eagles are a little bit more vulnerable to the tight end position rather than some of the wide receiver play. I don't know what's happening with Ricky Pearsall either. So I do like that look, but I would, if I were to bet, I would probably bet on the Eagles. Just like you said, I just think they're a much better team. And although I've been kind of on the opposite side all year, thinking they're a little bit more fraudulent, but I do think they've looked better the last several weeks. I still don't love their offense, but it's hard not to love that defense, man. Like that defense is just going to keep them in a lot of games. And I think if Jalen Hurts could just do a good job of not turning the ball over, they're going to be a tough out. So I definitely, I'll own up. I'll switch up a little bit on the Eagles from my priors of them thinking they were fraudulent.
I'm taking the Packers. You're taking the Eagles. Stranger Things, season 5. We're in the upside down. Tyler, exactly. If you gave me the same assignment I just asked Jayme, and you wanted me to make an argument for the 49ers, I would say coaching advantage. This is the one game in which the Eagles do not have the clear defensive coordinator advantage. I put Saleh on the same level as Fangio. I mean, just 1A, 1B. I mean, they're just right up there at the top, right? Like Jokic and stuff like that. And then Shanahan is 10 times better than whoever's calling plays there in Philadelphia. And I can't remember his name. Can you help me out, Jayme? But he's probably going to get fired.
He's going to get fired. I can't remember his name either, but
I mean,
he's definitely a goner.
Tecmo Bowl, easy stuff, right? I mean, Antonio Brown's running a 3-route tree. I mean, geez. So Tyler, what are your thoughts here? Eagles, Niners.
Eagles kind of just manhandle them, I think. I mean, the Niners defense is down there with Chicago's, in my opinion, at this point. Mm-hmm. It Saul's a good coordinator, but the injuries at this point coming into that game against Seattle, they were already beat up very badly. They lost like 3 more guys in that game. Mm-hmm. That's the straw broke the camel's back a long time ago. They just happened to play the easiest schedule in the league other than one other team. And they ended up 12-5. They needed home field in the worst way. And I think that their playoffs ended against Seattle. I think the Eagles win this by double digits. I think Saquon absolutely nukes this team. I mean, you just watch Kenny Walker, who couldn't do anything all year, just absolutely obliterate this team on the ground and through the air. They dump it off to Saquon a little bit more than they used to. I think he might even get 200 scrimmage yards in this game, multiple touchdowns, just absolutely nukes San Fran and puts them down. So I like Philly. And another guy I like for a touchdown is Goddard. These tight ends in Wildcard Weekend always tend to get looked at. And just, I think Philly puts up a huge number here. I'd rather be on Goddard than Kittle because I think there's a chance San Fran's in that same spot they were in last week, where it's just like the pass rush is there. They're all over Purdy. You have no time to get this ball out. You can score 3 to 10 points.
Yeah. No, I could see that. And I'm, as far as like playoff best ball too, like I've been drafting. I'm trying to get Saquon. He's like my favorite pick, honestly. When I get like the 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm hoping to get Saquon almost every single time because, like Tyler said, it's like one. It's, say they lose, right? Say 49ers beat him. He still probably smashes, right? So then it's just a really good advance rate piece. But there's also I think, like you guys said, a pretty good chance that he smashes and they win and move on too. So I've been taking a lot of the Eagles there too because I agree with Tyler. It feels like a spot where they could just absolutely erupt.
They're bringing back Lane Johnson too, so that's going to help the run game a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep.
Once it comes, I don't think it's out yet. Let's see. Wildcard Weekend. No, I don't see it yet. I was looking for most rushing yards. Once that pops up, whatever Saquon is, I feel like that's a bet.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Los Angeles Chargers are +3.5. They're in New England taking on the Patriots. Totals 46. Jayme, I also made a bet on this game, and I took the Los Angeles Chargers. We talked about the Bears. Oh, we didn't mention on the 49ers, but you kind of talked about it when looking at why maybe that offense isn't as good. One of the reasons we targeted 49ers in best ball this year was a ridiculously easy schedule. And the New England Patriots have had a ridiculously easy schedule here, too. I think a lot of the arguments that you made against the Chicago Bears can kind of apply here to the Patriots, except the Patriots play much better defense. The Patriots do play much better defense, so we don't have that.
I was just jumping in for a second. Ridiculous is kind of an understatement when you look back on this schedule. Listen to this schedule. Week 1, they played the Raiders. Yeah, they lost that game outright, but it's the Raiders. The Dolphins, the Steelers, the Panthers, Bills, Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons, Buccaneers, Jets, Bengals, Giants, Bills, Ravens, Jets, Dolphins. They played one good team all year, and they lost to them.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Sounds like you're with me here, Tyler. I'm actually not brave enough. I didn't hit the money line yet, but just 3.5 seems like too much. And it is one of those ones where I probably should hit the money line because it does fall into the category of if you're going to take the points, unless it's like 15 or something, you should reasonably believe the team can win straight up. Thinking that it's going to land between 0 and 3 is rough here. I guess it can't land in 0 on the playoffs, but I like the Chargers here plus the points. This is also weird too. I love Vrabel, but I think Harbaugh, that's got to be at least equal. Will be Drake May's first playoff game, and I know he's had a great season, but Herbert at least has some playoff experience, albeit bad, but I think it still helps you a lot just to get ready for the week. And this Chargers team, in my mind, is quietly underrated on defense. They're kind of like the Jaguars. They're fast and they hit hard. So it's the things I like to see, especially in a tough physical game that's going to be played in New England. Jayme, I took the points with the Chargers. Where are you at on this one?
Come on, man. I can't go against my guy, Justin Herbert. He's due for a good playoff game. All right. Like I want to see it. I also think too, like if you just look at historical data of quarterbacks making their debut as favorites over a quarterback that has already played playoff games, it's not good. I think it was Clev Analytics. I think I saw a post about this. So if anyone, Clev TA. So go out there and take a look. He posted something about it. It's not good. And again, Drake May is a really good quarterback. He potentially MVP, runner up for MVP. The future is still really, really bright. I just think, like you said, man, I think the experience is a big thing. I think coaching is pretty equal. And I think the Patriots have a better defense, but I still don't think they have some juggernaut defense. I think it's just going to get a ton of pressure on Justin Herbert. So I lean with the Chargers here too. I also like getting Ladd McConkey over 3.5 receptions. I know that he has not been very good the past month, but I do think this is a good spot. And I think that Justin Herbert's going to kind of lean on him a little bit in this game. It was last year where Ladd McConkey had that massive blow up game against Houston week 1, 2. So I'm with you. I do lean with the Chargers here. I think it's a good spot. I can still see the Patriots win. Maybe it ends at 3 or a 1-point game. I think it's going to be a close game, which just makes me want to take the 3.5 even more. But this is a fun game. It's honestly one of my favorite games of the entire week, to be honest. So I'm excited for this one.
All right, Tyler, you were in hell because your favorite team won in one of the most exciting games. How many times did we have the most exciting game of the year?
I mean, that was wild. That was the best game of the year.
That was awesome.
That beat out
Bears.
The Rams Seattle game was probably game of the year before that Thursday night game. That Sunday night game might have took it out.
That messed me up on Monday, dude. I could not fall asleep after that game.
I don't think anyone in Pittsburgh got to work on time that next morning.
Yeah, I'll bet. Talk to me about what you saw with your team, Tyler. It was almost like what I said because it made absolutely no sense. Tomlin would get it done. and he did it again, dude. Although we talk about targeting bad defenses, I mean, is that Ravens defense just like the tonic for a guy like Rodgers to look a little better and
it's
find
terrible.
Calvin
And I mean,
Austin wide open?
I can't tell if he's in one of those pictures behind Jayme, but he looked like he was back in green and yellow on Sunday night. I mean, he was absolutely dicing that defense apart. You get DK back. I mean, I know Calvin Austin's nothing, but it's just a guy that can take 4 targets away. Their 2 running back system, I mean, they're the only team with 2 running backs that cleared 1,000 yards this year. Their offensive line's ranked in the top 5. PFF has 2 of their corners ranked in the top 5. This might bite me in the ass, but they might actually have a shot. With how wide
open, I think they definitely have the shot. I mean, the Texans have the best defense.
Play this out. The AFC plays out this way. They beat the Texans. The Bills beat the Jags. The Patriots squeak out a win against the Chargers. The Bills go to Denver. We play Patriots again. We beat the Patriots. Denver takes out Josh Allen. We get to play Bo Nix in the AFC Championship game. It's Bo Nix against Aaron Rodgers. That is the ideal matchup to go to the Super Bowl.
I hate this for Tyler, man. My man's finally getting his hopes up for the first time.
I know. That's why I said it's gonna. I've done this before. I know it's gonna bite me in the ass. But
I hate this for you, man. I honestly.
Well, let's take it step by step, Jayme. Can we get to the next round at least?
No, I don't think so. I took Houston -3. I think Houston is like arguably the best team in the AFC. That defense is legit. I think CJ Stroud has played much better over last month, and they're starting like outside of Nico, Schultz is playing well. Jaden Higgins looks real good. He's coming along. But honestly, most importantly, so like I'm all over anti-Rodgers here, unfortunately. Like I'm really happy he made it. Like always we'll have love for Rodgers, but I took his under 211.5 pass yards. I took Rodgers' 3rd interception at +120. The reason is like this is a nightmare.
Why are you over here vaccinating Tyler's hope?
No, this is a nightmare spot for Rodgers. So Rodgers ranks 38th out of 40 qualified quarterbacks in success rate when he is under pressure. He ranks 27th in yards per attempt, 5 yards per attempt when he's under pressure. He ranks 38th in your guys' favorite statistic, EPA per dropback. He has a turnover-worthy throw rate of 5.3% when he is under pressure. You compare that to 1.6% when he is not pressured. Rodgers is not good under pressure. And what does this Houston Texans defense do about better than anyone in the NFL? It is get pressure on the quarterback. I think this is maybe, there's a chance that Houston's offense, I don't think they're like juggernauts by chance. Maybe CJ Stroud plays terrible. And this is like a 16-13 game, right? And maybe like a bunch of field goals, all that stuff will work itself out, and Pittsburgh can maybe squeak one out there. I think that's what you're betting on. I think you might as well just bet the under in this game, or maybe Texans under, team total under. Like if you think Pittsburgh, I think this is just a nightmare spot for Rodgers. I know he historically does not throw a lot of interceptions. I like his interception at +120 here. Like I said, he's just not good under pressure. Texans is going to make his life a living hell. And I mean, you said it. Baltimore's defense is not good. They do not get very much pressure on the quarterback. Rodgers was able to light them up, and it was cool to watch, right? Because that was vintage Aaron Rodgers late in the game. It brought me back a little bit, to be honest with you. So that was cool. But I think this is a bad spot for Pittsburgh, and I think that's a bad spot for Rodgers. And like I said, I think Houston might just be the best team in the AFC.
Tyler, you sure you don't want to go pick the Bears now?
No.
No, hey, I'm rooting for Tyler. I'm telling you. I'm rooting for Tyler. I don't hate Pittsburgh at all. I actually like Pittsburgh.
I think what you need is CJ. You need those big plays out of CJ Stroud. He can't put together a drive and score touchdowns this year. And Coolers is right. We probably win this game with turnovers. But like you go back and look at what they've done this year. They haven't been able to put up points against any real defenses throughout the season outside of getting big plays. They played that Chargers game. They got to 14 in 4 plays. But 2 of the plays were giant bombs at the end zone. They couldn't do anything else the rest of the game. Their offense is absolutely abysmal. I think that our defense could create some turnovers, create some short fields, give Rodgers a couple chances against his defense. And where they are weak at, where it seems, is against the running back spot. They play the Raiders, and Genti absolutely duked this team. A couple other running backs were able to move the ball. Rodgers will get Gainwell and Warren the ball out on the outsides, and I think these guys can make a couple moves and get this ball on the field a little bit. So it's going to be an ugly one. I don't think we win in like a blowout fashion, but I think that they can squeak this one out and they can win this one.
I think that's fair.
I will hear it. This is the first time he's picked the Steelers. Like
I know that's why I feel so bad. I was like, oh, I thought
not the best matchup, but
with me.
It's not the best matchup, but I think their pathway to winning, and this is how it's been for years. They can't beat elite quarterbacks. You have to avoid the likes of Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Trevor Lawrence at this point. But you can beat CJ Stroud, an unproven Drake May, who, yes, he might be the MVP, but we still haven't seen him play in the playoffs, and he lost to them already once. And Bo Nix, you could beat those three. I don't know if you could beat the other guys.
No, that's fair. My one concern, too, I guess, with Pittsburgh is, I mean, they did give up late in that game against Baltimore. I mean, Zay Flowers, man, was just wide open, like 2 or 3 times.
The first play was cover 2 defense, and he broke that sack where they should have had him. 2 guys had him in the backfield.
Yeah.
The moment he broke out of that sack, they were in danger because you've seen his hand go up. Something was wrong downfield. It was it had Patrick Queen on Zay Flowers. Get the fast guy moving upfield and just throw it.
Yeah.
The second one would have been one of those plays you look back on if that field goal goes in and goes, man, Ramsey was one of the top defensive players for us all year, probably top 3. And the dude finally made a mistake, and it just so happened to end our season because he just got caught in la-la land, and there went Zay Flowers into space. So they looked bad, but I think that they can slow down Houston and CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I agree. Much difference between, CJ Stroud and then
the other big thing about CJ Stroud to Baltimore is there's not a giant elephant in the room, basically, in the backfield that you need to worry about who was gashing your defense all game in Derrick Henry. I mean, they opened the game and he ran the ball for 50 yards. You had to slow that down.
That's fair.
Yeah, Woody Marks is not the steamroller that Derrick Henry is, although to be fair, not many people are. So I love it. We finally disagreed here. I was like, what is this kumbaya type of show today? So I apologize. I love Tyler Garnett. I just couldn't argue for the Bears again after seeing that defense. Because you know what I love? I love running game and defense. And the Bears got half of that equation, which is what made me infatuated at first. But now that I'm getting to know them, I don't know. I don't know if this really works for me. There's some sloppy things that I don't really like. So, all right, there we go. So this is fun. So the official plays that I've made so far are the Eagles -4, the Chargers +3.5. Tyler, what official sides and totals have you bet right now, or would you suggest that we bet right now?
I haven't clicked the button on any sides and totals yet, but the ones I do like, I like the Rams -10.5. I like the Packers money line. Mm-hmm. I like the Eagles -4.5. I like the Chargers +3.5. You need that hook though, because I think if you get a 3, there's a good chance you push. Give me the Steelers money line. If they're covering 3, they're winning the game.
All right. I love that.
Fair enough. Jayme, I got a +3 for these Steelers right now. Do you think that people are going to listen to your argument and run to the book and all smash the Texans? And do you think I'll be able to get a 3.5, or if I like the Steelers, just take the 3 right now?
It was 3.5.
It was 3.5. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And usually they're hesitant to move to a brand new number, but if the number's been there before, they're usually pretty more amenable to moving it back to it. Yeah.
I think it goes probably back up to 3.5.
I think there's a better chance it goes down to 2.5 and it gets off at 3.
Well, here's the one thing though, they hate having 2.5 and 3.5 out there.
Let the week keep going on. Let the week keep going on. Let that narrative keep getting built that they haven't lost a Monday night game in like 24 games also. And people will just run and bet the underdog in this spot. They're going to be 2.5 by the time this game kicks off.
Oof. Yeah. Unfortunately, if we get 2.5, I've got to go all in on Houston. Unfortunately, I'm already on the 3. But who knows? Maybe. I know generally like spread, they don't like that middle opportunity of landing on 3 and
not 3. Like if it's a middle on 5, they're not tripping. But 3 hits 10% of the time when the opener was at 3, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does with the rule changes, but traditionally 3. If the line closed at -3, the late game would land on 3 10% of the time.
And then I
heard that a while ago, so that might have switched.
I got one fun parlay for everyone. We talked about it earlier, how the tight ends tend to do very well in Wildcard Weekend. They tend to get a lot of red zone targets. Colby Parkinson touchdown. I think the Rams score a ton of points. Devontae Adams probably doesn't score them all. Colby Parkinson gets some targets in the red zone also. We'll go Dalton Kincaid over Strange. I think he gets worked back into the fray. You've seen Buffalo use a lot of tight ends in the red zone this year and get touchdowns. I think Kincaid gets in there. Give me Goddard and give me Gadsden. That gets you 150.
Corey was asking, are you betting Orlando Gadsden props? Tyler, Patriots are pretty bad against the tight end.
That parlay pays 150 to 1. I'll answer that question after I get the odds outspread.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Gadsden's in a good spot.
Yeah.
And I think he crushes. So I don't mind betting Gadsden's props.
I like it.
All right. Well, hopefully we're all absolutely wrong, and we're talking about the greatness of Ben Johnson next week, Jayme.
God, bro.
How in hell are you going to be if you lose to the Bears?
You won't see me until next year. I'll tell you.
You won't even come on for a Super Bowl show.
If they lose to the Bears, it's going to give Spread some Jordan Love ammunition, I think. It's going to be him turning the ball over, awarding them points, basically, and he can't get out of his own way, and that's how they lose. Just has one of those games.
I think if they lose to the Bears, they give up 275 yards rushing.
I think it's possible. I don't even want to talk about that. No, I'll be on next week anyways. You know that. I'll always come on. But that's come on, positive vibes in the air, man. Packers aren't losing the Bears.
Right.
Come on.
All right. Final words from you, Tyler, before we get out of here.
Yeah, I think Wildcard Weekend's going to be fun. I mean, we could all take a shot on a Super Bowl winner, who we think's going to win, or we could take a shot on who we think's going to match up. Have a fun little thing.
All right, I'll choose the Super Bowl winner right now.
I think it's better to choose. We each pick the matchup. Like who's gonna be there in the end.
You want to do the matchup?
Yeah.
All right, Jayme. I was trying to look at the odds. I don't know why Bookmaker won't give me NFL numbers. Do you have a preferred matchup here? Mike Robb thinks it's going to be Packers versus Jaguars for you, Jayme. What do you think?
Oh, that would be sign me up on that one. I don't.
Probably a good 30 to 1.
Yeah, that's look. I'm at this point. I realize that my Packers Super Bowl ticket is not looking too great. I just taking it one game at a time for the Packers. But if I had to choose, I'm going to say the Rams. And I'm going to say Rams and Texans. I know that probably is a little gross, but I'm going to say Rams, Texans. The AFC, honestly, to me is really, really tough. I think you guys could say almost any single team in the AFC, and I'd be like, I think that's a decent shot. But I'm going to say Rams, Texans. I think Jaguars too, potentially. I'll say, I'm not about to mention every single team, but if New England does beat the Chargers, I could see New England then going on a little bit of a run too. But I'm going to say Rams, Texans. That'll be my pick.
How about this one, Tyler? Broncos, Eagles. Let's go.
All right. You ready for this?
Say it.
Yeah, we're ready.
We're getting a rematch of 06. We're going Steelers, Seahawks.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay, but my actual one, Eagles, Bills.
Yeah. I think that's fair. That's a good one.
All right, Tyler, final words, and then I'm going to hit the outro.
That was our final word, Spreads. That was your time to hit the button. We were coming back to it. So, I mean, we'll wrap back around, hit the button this time.
Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Megan Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the